Do you hear the sound of history? But you didn't come here for a history lesson. No, you came here for a board game review, and I'm going to give that to you. There's a board game called Cable Car, which takes place in a San Francisco-ish thing. It's a board game that's a tile placement game. It's very similar to Tesoro, I would say, as far as your tile placement goes, except for you don't have little guys that you're moving around the board. Now, like the real cable car system, there is in the board game the central powerhouse, which is in the center of the board. All of your cable cards must run either back to the system or back to a wheelhouse on the sides of the board. You put out your cable cars on these denoted spots on the sides of the board. Then every turn you draw and place a tile from the pile, and where you place it doesn't necessarily have to be on your track, and in the full version of the game you don't even have a track, which is very interesting. But you can play it like a base game, which is everybody has one cable car that they're interested in. The way that cable car companies get points is the same way in the base game or in the advanced game / full game, and that is that whenever you complete a cable car's route, i.e. they go to either the main power station or one of the power stations on the side, you count how many tiles that cable car path used and you get 1 point per tile. In the basic game of cable car, these points that you get by completing tracks are just the points that you get in the game. In the normal / full / advanced / whatever you want to call it version of the game, the points that the cable car companies gets may or may not be part of your score, because you don't actually own one of the specific cable companies, you just own stock in it. And the stock that you own in those cable car companies is different. You can buy and sell stock as you want, and you keep that stock somewhat secret. I mean, people could pay attention and kind of card count, but you keep your stock secret, and so when you go and build cables and place cables, it's unknown why you might be doing that. Like, you might be building up the orange line and making sure the orange line gets the most points, but that might be a ploy. Maybe you don't own the most stock in the orange line. You don't know. At the end of the game, players are denoted points by how well each cable card company did, multiplied by how much stock they own in the company. If you play the base game of Cable Car, it's just a tile placement path making game. It's very much like Tesoro, and it's kind of boring, actually. I mean, if you've played Tesoro and you like Tesoro, then yeah, okay, it's fun, and you can make fun little paths that absolutely have nothing, like the ones that just go in circles or meander or like come back to the barn that they started at. But the advanced version of the game, the full version of the game, the whatever you want to call it version of the game, that is the interesting one. Because you're also doing the tile placement, you still have the tile placement mechanic, but the interesting part and the thing that makes Cable Car juicy is the fact that you're buying and selling stock, and nobody really knows what stock you have. Yeah, the basic game is fun, it's tile placement. If you don't own Tesoro, if you've never played Tesoro, it's a more interesting twist on Tesoro because it's points, not who can stay on the board the longest. But when you introduce the stock market element, it makes the game a lot more interesting. You have to place tiles and try and build paths that are more effective for certain cable car companies, but you don't want certain cable car companies to get like way ahead on the score because there might be a chance that you don't own the majority stock, or you don't own the most stock, or just something stock. You can start to bluff a little bit about what cards you have, and you can keep track of other people's cards. The number of stock cards that you can own is maximum 3, and there are only ever 3 visible in the market. So you buy stock blind from the top of the deck, which no one will know what you get, and then when you discard face down so nobody knows what you discard. There's a bit of mystery and illusion. This bit of mystery makes it easy for you to conceal what you're invested in, and then bluff through tile placement and mannerisms or whatnot that what you might be interested in. This element of bluffing makes this game more than just a tile placement game. It's hand management, tile placement, bluffing, and just path making, and just it's fun. If this kind of tile placement, bluffing, hand management, stock playing game interests you, you can pick up a copy at your local friendly local game store, whichever. Otherwise, if you like this video, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see more. And what have you been playing lately? Hill climbing. Is there a game just about hill climbing? That's what I played.